get cashed checks every day.
Exactly.
Let me hit the record button here and give it a couple seconds. All right. Well, I'll count. I'll count it down to three, and then we'll start this puppy up. Three, two, one. All right. Well, good morning, everybody from Bangkok, Thailand. Good afternoon, good evening for those of you in the United States. Welcome to today's program. I am Ken Krell, the Kenergizer, the host of the Boost Your Practice Show, the fun, cheeky, releaseful show of professional practices, and I am joined with my buddy, Dr. Doug Bench. I've made him a doctor. He's truly not a real doctor, but we're playing one on online TV today. So there you go. Just for full disclosure, the man is not a medical doctor, but he is a judge, and as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough to me because he's a JD Juris doctor. Before we get started formally, though, can you guys hear me okay? If you can, since I'm on a new microphone today, if you would pop into the chat box and tell me something that indicates that you can actually hear me, tell me where you're coming in from. That would be kind of cool before we get the show on the road today. Doug and I have been talking in the background. Wolfgang is here from Melbourne, Australia. Yes, I noticed you were in early, Wolfie. Good to see you. Hello, David. David, where are you coming in from today? The rest of you can kind of pop in. This is where you want to participate. Harold is coming in from Chicago. Excellent. Good evening, Harold. Great to see you. Uh, Anybody else want to share the day this afternoon? This evening? Loud and clear from Clinton, Mississippi, says Cliff. Excellent. Glennis, you're coming from Queensland. Excellent. Okay, so Glennis, it is now 9 a.m. for you. Yes, am I right on that? Um, I've got to be real careful with everybody because you're all coming in from around the world. That's great. Ron is in from Kalamazoo. I like Kalamazoo. Ron, haven't been there in ages. Hey, Glennis, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so the rest of you guys, I will be in the chat for the rest of the presentation, and so thrilled that you're here. Today is going to be a real great treat. I have known our presenter for quite some time. Paul's in from Cyprus. Outstanding. Glad you're here. David's in from St. Pete Beach. Well, St. Pete Beach, so you're just a little bit south of one of my favorite places, Frenchie's Cafe. I was just telling Doug that I was in Nepal just last week, and I was actually wearing my Frenchie's Cafe tank top while I was in Nepal. So honored it to St. Pete and Clearwater beaches. Anyway, Doug Bench is he's a judge. I kid you not, he is a retired judge. He is a gentleman who. Doug, you've got one of the coolest businesses, actually, a few of the coolest business ever. Doug provides continuing education to contractors, which, if you want to think about a recession-proof kind of business, aside from Home Depot, anybody that's in the professions like contractors. I want to keep saying chiropractors because that's my business. Um, they need continuing education, and that's mandated by the government. So you pretty much have a government mandated business. I love it, Doug. I mean, it's just I'm so envious of you for what you put together. It's really brilliant. What you're going to hear today is Doug talking about how to build a better brain. I called it brain hacking, and he'll tell you his story about how he became a brain training expert. But this is a gentleman who's able to discover opportunities and jump on them and turn them from opportunity into actual action and results. So this is really exciting for me to bring him back for you. When we have had Doug speak for us in the past, the feedback has been nothing short of miraculous, and my mom loves you. So, that's the most important thing of all. You know, if mom says good, then it's good to go. So, Dr. Bench, are you ready to rock and roll today?
I am more than ready. I am chomping at the bit.
Then, ladies and gentlemen, let's give the Booster Practice virtual clap to my buddy, Doug Bench.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello,
everybody.
Everybody say hello to Doug, and I will mute myself, but I will be here with you for the whole time. So anytime you want to engage, just let me know if there's a second delay for you to respond. It's because I'm hitting the unmute button.
All right. Welcome everybody. It's a phenomenal opportunity for me and a privilege to be with all of you and with Ken tonight. We're going to be talking about building a better brain, specifically through the use of brain science how you can improve the performance of your brain. And we want to talk in a specific area as well, which you'll hear about in a minute. But once you know how your brain works, it will always work better. But before we get started, I want to ask you a pretty simple question. I have a gift for you tonight. It's a brain-based gift, and it starts out with a question. And the question is, what if you could train your brain to generate an unending stream of money-making ideas, greater achievements, and a bigger bank account through brain science? How many of you would like that? If you would like that, raise your hand over there and let me know that. What if you could train your brain to generate an unending stream of money-making ideas that keep coming into your brain automatically? Would you like that? If you'd like that, raise your hand.
Oh, they are popping in, Doug.
What if you could?
They are popping in.
Great. Well, that's fair. I would hope so. My goodness, they would be flatlined if they didn't.
I got wows. I got yeses. I got me's. I got yeah. This is great. Yeah, I think if they were tired, you have woken them up.
Perfect. Well, what I'm talking about here is your brain brings you an idea, and all of a sudden that idea pops into your head. It might be an idea for a product, physical product, like those you see on TV and infomercials. It might be an idea for a website that generates revenue for you. It might be an idea for a book. Here's a couple of books that ideas popped into my head that started this whole thing rolling about 11 years ago, which I will tell you about in my story. A phenomenal thing happened, and I'll be sure and tell you about that. What if your idea was for a business of your own that generated revenue for you? And what if those ideas, excuse me, came to you automatically? Would you like that? Would you like to learn about that? Oh, come on, Doug, that's impossible. No, it's not. Listen to my story. Let's say you're walking down the aisle at Walmart with your spouse, just looking around, you know, whistling, and then all of a sudden, boom, an idea pops into your head automatically for something you could do to make money. Would you like that? Well, all you got to do tonight is listen to my story, and you'll see how it happened. Now, I want you to stop me if you've heard this next part before. Stop me if you've heard it. Once upon a time, I was broke. 2001. Net worth, zero. I had retired from practicing law and being a judge. Due to some medical expenses that were incurred by my family, I was flat broke. Have you heard a story like this before? Well, let me tell you why my story's a little bit different. Yeah, I was broke in 2001. But you know what? I'm not broke anymore. And the reason my story is different is because it's true. I now have a horse farm in Florida, here where I'm talking to you from, in beautiful north central Florida. There's a couple of our animals that we rescue. That's Cody the donkey on the left there. That's not me. And Murphy, one of our horses. We also have a ranch in Colorado, a beautiful ranch in Colorado, where I was just telling Ken last week, unfortunately, I was stranded because of the floods in Colorado that you've probably heard about. But our house was safe. It sits high up there on a hill. I just was stranded there because the rivers were raging down the mountain and I couldn't get out of there for several days, so we had to hike out. But the important thing is we have that property, and it's an unbelievable rags to riches story. So if you listen to my story, what you'll learn is how to mind your brain through brain science. I'm no genius or anything of the kind. This just happened to me. I learned how to bankroll my brain power, and I'm going to share that with you tonight. How to bankroll your brain power, how to train your brain to create an unending stream of money-making ideas, because that's exactly what happened to me. And you've got to stay with me to the end, because when we get near the end, I have got a huge surprise for you. I've got a surprise ending number one. I'm not going to tell you what it is. And not only that, I've got a surprise ending number two that you're going to it's going to blow you away. And if that's not enough, then I've got a surprise ending number three that you absolutely won't believe. So let's get started. Just listen to my story and you will learn to bankroll your brain power. Now, this is all possible when I found out that there's been an explosion of revolutionary brain science discoveries. Just in the last dozen years, there has been an explosion of information that the scientists have learned about how the human brain works. But you know something? I want to stop here for a minute. Why the heck should you listen to Doug Bench about all this stuff? I mean, who the heck is Doug Bench? And why should you listen to me? Well, let's talk about that for a second. You shouldn't listen to Doug Bench. You should listen to the information that Doug Bench shares with you that he's learned from the brain scientists. Because when you listen to this, you will learn. I apologize. I'm getting over the cold from having to hike out of being stranded in the mountain through the cold, wet weather. That's one of our rescue dogs there, by the way. That's Patty Malone, our basset hound. Her ears are normal size, by the way. But man, just thinking if your ears were that big, how well you could listen. But why you should listen to Doug Bench, I don't know. They call me America's brain training guy. I've read over 400 books on the brain since 1999. I've read over 80,000 pages of brain research studies and reports since 1999. And Jack Canfield, who wrote a book called The Success Principles, plus many, many books called Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jack, in his Success Principle books, has said that nobody in America knows more about the workings of the human brain than Doug Bench. Man, I don't know about that, but I know a lot about the brain. John Osseroff, best-selling author, multimillionaire, has said Doug Bench is a genius at helping people understand how to make their brains work better. Genius? I don't know if I'm a genius, but I can tell you why I know so much about the brain with my story. I grew up in a tiny little town in Ohio. There's my family. I'm the little tyke in front of my huge father, who was a tremendous man. He was a minister and he played professional football. And there's my mother on the right hand. I'm going to tell you more about my mother. And there's two of my children when they were very young. My daughter's showing you that trophy for our track team that we coached at a high school in Ohio, which won the state championship. They were 47-0, undefeated the last year I coached there before I went to law school. And she's showing you that trophy's bigger than she is. Here's 5 of my grandsons, plus my youngest son, JD, who's a golf professional. I have 6 grandsons and 1 granddaughter. There's grandson number 6, Benjamin, over there. He's a snappy dresser. And I've only got 1 granddaughter. That's Stella. She, of course, is not spoiled at all. Here she is with my beautiful bride, Grandma, having some fun. And this is a picture of me. Yeah, I'm an Ohio State Buckeye nut. But the reason I wanted to show you this picture is it has to do with my story. Yes, I was totally broke in 2001. I'll tell you a little bit how that happened and how it can benefit you. But this was just 5 years later in 2006. And if you're a golf nut, you'd recognize where that picture was taken. That's at St. Andrews in Scotland, the birthplace of golf, and I'm standing on a very famous bridge there called the Swilcan Bridge. That was made possible because of what I learned in my story, that we could afford to go. My wife is Irish. We went to Ireland. We went to Scotland so I could play golf. A lifetime dream to play golf at the birthplace of golf at St. Andrews. And it all came about because what I learned through my story. And my story is dedicated to the memory of my mother, Vera E. McWaters Bench. There she is in this old picture. My mother had an IQ of 152. She was a member of Mensa. She unfortunately, though, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 1995. We lost her 3 years later to that dreaded disease. And it scared the crap out of me. I mean, I think you can understand that. I didn't, heck, I could hardly even spell Alzheimer's, let alone understand the disease and how it could destroy somebody's very soul. And I became extremely frightened. I was in my mid-50s, early 50s really, when that happened. And I was scared to death that it was going to hit me. I mean, you know how you go into a room and you can't remember why you went in there, or you forget things, or you have a brain fart, or you call it a senior moment. Well, those things are all real funny until you lose your mom to Alzheimer's. Then they're not funny anymore. They're scary because you think Alzheimer's hitting you. And so what I did as a result, the first step I took was I got a book by Dr. Pierce Howard, The Owner's Manual for the Brain. I wanted to learn everything I could about how the human brain worked, because I was scared to death that mine wasn't going to work right. Is there anything I can do to make it work better so I don't have to worry about Alzheimer's? My gosh, I was only 53. So what I did is I read that book. I read over 30,000 pages of brain research. I studied every book and report I could get my hands on, all of which, excuse me, were written after 1998. And I'll tell you why that is here in a minute. I mean, I read everything about the brain, how the brain works, the discoveries that they were finding about the brain. And then all of a sudden, it happened. In 2002, boom, I got an idea. It came to me automatically. At the time, I had no idea where this idea came from. Why is this coming into my head? It was an idea automatically popping into my head at my oldest son's wedding. This is my oldest son, John, and his beautiful wife, Rainey. They got married June the 22nd, 2002, out in Eureka, California. And while we're at their wedding reception, this idea pops into my head. You see those two pieces of paper there on the table in front of them? Those are their wedding vows. They wrote their own wedding vows. And I got the idea at their wedding reception. I have no idea how I got it or what I was going to do with it, but I got the idea for a book on how to write your own wedding vows. And I'll tell you more a little bit later how I turned that into a book, because you know darn well I didn't know how to write a book on how to write your own wedding vows. But we got that book written. We put it up on a website, yourweddingvows.com, and in 10 years from the sale of that book, we donated over $485,000, it's 11 years now, to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, LLS.org. And then we got another idea. See that second book down there? I was playing golf with my professional golfer youngest son, JD, and we were at the bar after we played golf. The TV was on, the news was on, but we weren't watching it. We were drinking a beer and talking about our golf match and how much money I owed him, which was the typical result when I played golf with my son. But you know what? All of a sudden, boom, I heard something on the TV. What I heard on the TV, they were doing, remember Peter Jennings? They were doing a story on the news about genealogy. And I heard him say the following words: 54 million Americans are interested in learning more about their family history, but don't know how to get started. Boom! I said to my son, what did he just say? He says, I don't know, Dad, you owe me $22. No, I think he said 50 million Americans are interested in genealogy. So I pulled out my digital voice recorder and put a message on there to myself. Hey, when I get back to Orlando, find out if there's a book for beginners on genealogy. 50 million people want to do their family history. Boom. My sister wrote that book. We had somebody from a website that I'm going to tell you more about a little bit later edit that book. And guess what? We've contributed in 5 years over 200,000 to leukemia, lymphoma, and Alzheimer's.org from the sale of that book. Now, you don't have to give the money away. I just had a meeting with my Lord and agreed that the proceeds from those two books should go to charity. But you don't have to do that. I mean, that's an average of over $40,000 a year for a book that I didn't even write, for my ideas that popped into my head that I didn't at the time even know why they popped into my head. Now I do. But that's an extra $42,000 a year. How many of you, raise your hand, how many of you, an extra $42,000 a year would change your life? Yeah. But you know what? The doggone ideas didn't stop coming. We had an idea for a treat tote for people that ride horses. My wife has horses. She loves horses. We created this little treat tote for cameras and horse treats. She has a website now called Mainly Bling that makes a lot of money. She makes these brow bands for horses. All these ideas started coming. We saw at the gift shop at the lighthouse at Hilton Head Plantation, where my sister had a place before she passed on. Up in the gift shop at the top of the lighthouse, we saw a lamp made out of a wine bottle there. I said, whoa, that's a good idea. We put up a website, winebottlelamps.com. The doggone thing sold like crazy for about 4 years. Cost about $6 to make, plus you get a drink a bottle of wine. And they sell for anywhere from $79 to $149. I'm not kidding you. What I learned was how to bankroll my brain power. Now, along about 2004, I started another business. An idea came into my head to teach continuing education to Florida contractors and home builders. I had, in my years as a lawyer, done some construction law. I found out that contractors in Florida had to take 14 hours of continuing education, so I started a business teaching them continuing education. That idea popped into my head, FloridaHardHat.com. Our logo was, we got you covered. And that business went zooming up, was doing terrific. I mean, we were bankrolling big time our brain power with that business. And then you know what happened. From 2007 to 2011, building permits in Florida were down 70%. Contractors were just turning in their licenses by the thousands. But boom, then an idea popped into my head. You know what? What if I could show these contractors how to come up with money-making ideas like I was, how to boost their brain and their bank account by making money with ideas outside of construction. So we came up with this idea for a seminar, called it Marketing for Millions, put these things on all over the state of Florida for free for the contractors on how to make money with ideas other than construction by training their brain to bring them ideas. Excuse me, I had a drink of water. And every one of these seminars were standing room only, all over the state of Florida. The first one we did was in Ocala back in December of 2010. And what we would do at those seminars would show them how their brain works. the revolutionary brain science discoveries of the last decade, techniques and skills based on the brain science discoveries, how to automate those techniques that we used to call brain apples, and how to make their brain work better by generating money making ideas. And you know what happened? Holy cow, you guys. The success stories were phenomenal. 42 contractors and family members in the last 14 months, it's now 17 months, have generated new income ideas that have brought them over $50,000 a year in added income. And that all came out of the Marketing for Millions seminars, M4M seminars. 37 of those success stories already had my Mind Your Brain system that we had created like 4 years ago on how to improve your brain. But this time we tied it to how to make money-making ideas with your brain. You see, all of this was based on brain science. Here's a statement from one of the world's leading neuroscientists, Richard Restic. He's written like 8 books on the brain. He studied the brain for 50 years. What the brain scientists have learned about the workings of the brain in the last decade used to be the stuff of science fiction. 99% of everything we now know to be true about the brain has been learned in just the last 10 to 12 years, thanks to the new brain imaging tools. See, I was learning this stuff. I didn't even know I was learning this stuff. So my brain was working better, and I didn't even know why my brain was working better. Now I do, because of this statement that Dr. Restic made in a book he published in 2003 called The New Brain. Listen to this. Man, if you don't write anything down, write this down. What Dr. Restic said, and keep in mind, this is a neuroscientist. This isn't some rah-rah, pom-pom shaking, stupid motivational speaker. This is a neuroscientist talking. He says if you learn about the recent revolutionary discoveries, and if you learn and apply techniques and skills based on these discoveries, you can expect, not maybe, coulda, woulda, shoulda, might be, you can expect a lifetime of enhanced achievements in athletics, academics, or business pursuits. Are you listening? If you learn about the revolutionary brain science discoveries of the last decade, and you learn skills and techniques based on those discoveries, you can expect a lifetime of enhanced achievements. You see, at the time I was learning about those skills and techniques, I just didn't realize I was. So what if you could learn to automatically overcome procrastination, create money-making ideas, have a better memory, make yourself invisible to negative people, have infinite willpower, become a quick and powerful problem solver, and come up with money-making ideas? Did I mention that? I don't think so. Great news. You can. You absolutely can if you learn how to bankroll your brain power like I did. There are basically 7 steps to financial freedom that we taught in the Marketing for Millions seminars. 1, learn how your brain works. Learn about the revolutionary discovery, just like Dr. Restic said. Then learn the Mind Your Brain techniques and habits. Then learn and apply the bankroll your brain power steps. Now, normally, I said I had 3 surprises for you. I'm going to give you a hint about surprise number 1 right now. Normally, of course, we go through those 12 bankroll your brain power steps in a big system that we talk you into investing in yourself with towards the end. Tonight, I'm giving you all 12 of those bankroll your brain power steps. So get a notepad ready, and I'm going to give them to you tonight. Burn it in. Practice, practice, practice those skills and habits. Automate your action so it becomes a system, and then cash the checks. That's one of my favorite parts. Cash the checks from the ideas you come up with. You see, what happened was we had those marketing for millions seminars for contractors based on what I had learned myself when I was scared to death that my mom was going to, that I was going to die from Alzheimer's, which took my mother. And because of the success all these doggone contractors were having in my Marketing for Million free seminars, I created this system called Bankroll Your Brain Power. Now let's just take a look at some of the success stories from that system. Now the Federal Trade Commission has told me I have to tell you up front that your results may vary. Your results probably will vary. You know, these results, as they say, are not typical. Heck no, you might do better. But this is our flagship story. Chris is a contractor. Stop me if you've heard this before. He got my Mind Your Brain training system of CDs. Listen to him in his truck every day. Boom. After about 7 months, he got an idea unbelievable idea, for a device that would turn horse manure into hydrogen and then power a whole house generator to run these horse farms all over the country on their own horse poop. I kid you not. I poop you not. And you know what? There's his website. You can check it out yourself, Planet Green Solutions. In 2.5 years since he got the idea, it has become a $57 million company. Now, of course, those results are not typical, but if you ask Chris, he'd tell you it was because of the Bankroll Your Brain Power training that he got from our system that he came up with that idea that created a $50 million company. Here's David Kunkel. David was so impressed with our brain training system, he hired me personally as his coach and mentor. And through the tough times that home builders have been going through the last few years, he has quadrupled his business and making millions more than before he worked with our brain training system. Your brain already has bankable brain power. You just got to learn to connect the dots. That's what Bankroll Your Brain Power is all about. Here's George Kohlreiser. He's a college professor and an author. He was trying to write a book for several years. He had writer's block. How horrid. He got our brain training system. He now has 2 bestsellers. This is his first one, Hostage at the Table. These are 2 contractors. This is one of the things we teach you in Bankroll Your Brain Power, to follow your passion. These 2 guys are contractors down near Fort Myers. They love golf. They love scuba diving. They put the 2 together, trained their brain, came up with an idea to retrieve golf balls. They now have contracts with, I don't know how many, like 80 different golf courses to retrieve golf balls from their ponds and lakes. I wouldn't do it for $1 million. $1.5 million golf balls last year they recovered, and they get 21 cents a ball. They got to give 7 cents for each ball back to the golf course. So you can do the math. That's 14 cents a ball times $1.5 million. All because they learned to bankroll their brain power. Here's a product a roofing contractor created after he trained his brain to come up with money-making ideas. It's a portable railing system to protect his roofers on a pitched roof. He sold that idea to AES Raptor Safety Company for $1.7 million 7 months after he got the idea. Are you kidding me? You can train your brain to come up with ideas like that? Yes. We'll tell you all about it. Do you want to be the next success story? I don't know what you want. You know, money for your kids or grandkids' college, or vacations, or fishing. Holy cow, fishing trips. I love to fish. Or a horseback ride on the beach in Ireland like my wife did. Whatever your dream is, whatever your desire is, if you train your brain to come up with money-making ideas, I'm telling you, it can happen for you. There is no doubt in my mind, because right now, between your left, you already got everything you need. Right between your left ear and your right ear is the most powerful achievement and productivity machine this universe has ever seen. All you have to do is learn to connect the dots. Remember? How do you do it? Well, there's 7 steps to financial freedom. Learn how your brain works, learn the Brain Apple's techniques and habits, apply them by using the 12 Bankroll Your Brain Power steps and skills. Practice, practice, practice. Automate it. And then what's the favorite part? Cash the checks. Now, with our Bankroll Your Brain Power system, this is our first system that 37 of those contractors had before they even got our Bankroll Your Brain Power system. If you invest in yourself tonight, you're going to get this for free. You're going to get that whole system for free. We've sold over 10,000 of those. You'll get it for free. It has the biggest brain science discoveries. It has the 16 techniques. It has 101 strategies you can apply based on brain science. I give you a 100-day schedule for success. Do you think you could possibly fail with that system? Yes, by not doing it. But other than that, you'll learn how to overcome procrastination, improve your memory, multiply your productivity, become a powerful problem solver, overcome self-imposed limitations, make you invisible to negative people. I love that one. We all have negative people around us, don't we? You become immune to those people. And you can stop wasting money on self-help stuff that doesn't last. And number 9, my favorite one, you can train your brain to bring you money-making ideas. And if you train your brain to bring you money-making ideas, automatically, you can bankroll your brain power. Now, I want to tell you real briefly, because I'm gonna skip ahead before I lose my voice, I guess, and give you the 12 steps. I'm going to lay it out for you tonight. Like we said earlier, I'm going to pull the curtain back and tell you everything. But here's what's in the Bankroll Your Brain Power system. It's a program, MP3 recordings, that'll help you train your brain with exercises and skills and habits and techniques to create an unending stream of money-making ideas and what to do with those ideas to monetize them, all based on science. You get the 12 greatest brain science discoveries, the 12 steps that you can learn to train your brain to create ideas, what kind of ideas are best and where to find them. I'm going to give you the 2 big secrets of where you go to find money-making ideas once you've trained your brain. Oh man, will it become automatic then. I'm going to share that with you tonight. And how to know if your idea is a good money-making idea. You don't want to spin your wheels or spend your money on ideas that are not good. You want to be able to test to see if it's a good idea. We show you how. And especially important, this should be starred, we show you how to take action to monetize your idea. Whether it's a physical product, do you need a patent? Where do you get a prototype? Do you want to manufacture it or do you want to sell the idea? Is it a website idea or a service idea? We answer all of your questions in our Bankroll Your Brain Power system. All right, let me give you our secret source of ideas, number 1. Once you follow our 12 steps, one of the best sources, I'm not kidding, of money-making ideas is the USA Today newspaper. I teach all my students to subscribe to the USA Today and to read it cover to cover daily, but to never read it looking for the news. Because it's all lies and propaganda anyway, isn't it? What you do is you read a newspaper looking for what people want and need, and you then train your brain to show you how to give it to them. I'll give you some examples here in a little bit, but it is the most powerful. I think I got a slide here that shows it. Yeah. So far, we've had 123 ideas. Not me, my students. I've had a few, but mostly my students have had ideas, 123 of them, that have come out of the USA Today by reading it, not for the news, but looking for what people want and need. From a $900 a month in book sales to a $42,000 a year newsletter to a $1.7 million check to a $50 million company. The ideas arose out of the pages of the USA Today newspaper. After you train your brain how to look for what people want and need. Here's an example. One of our contractors, I've got it laying on my desk here somewhere, a newspaper article. I wanted to read you part of it, but I'll paraphrase it because I buried it apparently. But here's what happened. He got our Bankroll Your Brain Power system. He had our Mind Your Brain system. He taught himself by following the audio recordings in our system to read the newspaper every day, looking for what people want and need. And he came across an article. The article was about the game called Call of Duty. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard of that. I had never, ever heard of Call of Duty before this contractor told me all about it. But apparently it's a violent video game that kids love, and you can play on PlayStation and Xbox. And this article in the USA Today, holy cow, this was in November of 2011. The article said, Call of Duty 3 sells 775 million in its first 5 days in stores. Are you kidding me? 775 million in sales in its first 5 days? Yeah. Wow. And the article, he of course tore that article out. Man, if you want to know what people want and need, if they sell $775 million worth in 5 days, somebody's wanting that. It went on to say that that was the third version of Call of Duty. The 3 versions had sales of about $7 billion. And that the next year, Call of Duty 4 was going to come out. They were expecting it to exceed $1 billion in sales in the first 5 days. Are you kidding? Now, listen, this is so cool. This contractor had a 13 and 15-year-old son. He was training his brain to come up with money-making ideas. He cut out that article. He followed my steps exactly, where he read that article and showed it to his brain every day for about 30 days. And then his brain, boom, brought him an idea. Guess where he was when it brought him the idea? He was at Walmart with his wife. He says, honey, I'm going to go over and look at that video game. And up until that point, by the way, his sons were not allowed to play video games. Oh, I think they were, well, they weren't allowed to play violent video games, okay? So he goes over. A young clerk showed him the game, told him all about it and how it works and how you can compete against other people in other countries. And if you get a high score, you can get in the Legion of Honor and get your name listed in the top 100 or something. Unbelievable stuff they do with this game. And boom, right then and there, the idea hit him. The idea hit him. He bought the game for his sons. He took the game home. His sons were ecstatic. Dad, you never let us play video games like this. I know you can now, but there's a catch. Every time you get a better score, you got to write down what you did to get a better score, the strategy you used, the techniques you used, whatever you did. He let him do that for about 6 weeks. Then he set up his video camera, and he had a list of questions, and he asked his boys questions about what they did. Apparently, the 15-year-old, who's now 16, of course, almost 17, he got really, really good at this game. He got in that Legion of Honor. So he had some really good strategies and secrets to get a high score. And his dad videoed the boys answering his questions. He went on to a website I suggested to get that video edited. And then guess what? He posted it on a website called Vimeo, Vimeo.com, where you can give your video a password. And he sold the password to that video to show people how to get a high score on Call of Duty 3. He sold the password for $8.77. And guess how much his sales were in 7 months? $105,000. Holy cow. But it's kind of interesting. The sales skyrocketed up for about 4 months, and then they skyrocketed down because the kids, excuse me, the kids were pirating the video and giving it to their friends or posting it on YouTube. So he made his money and ran. 105,000 into his boy's college fund. Are you kidding me? All because he learned to bankroll his brain power. He did it again when Call of Duty 4 came out, but he only made about 17,000. Kids catch on fast, don't they? But man, oh man, what a great idea. Now here's Amanda Elliott. I want to tell you her story because this is one of my favorites. Amanda Elliott's father is a contractor, and he was putting money away for Amanda to go to college, and then the crash came in construction, and he had to tell her she wasn't going to be able to go to college because she spent all her college fund to live on. He called me up before we were going to have our Marketing for Millions down in Orlando. I used to live in Orlando. Now I live up in horse country, as you can see there. But Jim called me up and he says, Doug, I really want to come to your Marketing for Millions, but I can't. I finally got a job. I got to go measure it on Saturday and have the estimate in on Monday, the proposal in on Monday. But can I send my mother and my daughter? I said, absolutely. So his daughter, Amanda, and her grandmother came to our Marketing for Millions seminar. And guess what? Right there at the seminar, we go through the USA Today newspaper. I show you in our Bankroll the Brain Power system. I show you in our seminar how to use the newspaper, not for the news, to look for ideas. And right there, in the USA Today, we were using in class, on the front page, there was an article about the fact that nearly all child restraint car seats fail the national safety standards. Boom! Amanda and her grandmother got an idea for a book for the parents of toddlers on how to select the safest car seat. Now, they didn't know how to write that book. One of the things we teach you is how to use a website called Elance. It's where freelance writers and experts in any imaginable topic are available for you. They had that book written. I think it cost them about $900 and some for this safety expert to write that book for them. They put it up on Amazon Kindle. And from June of 2012 to now, which is a little over a year, she's been averaging a net. You know, Amazon takes a percentage of any books that sell on Kindle, and they promote the book for you. But she's been averaging a net of $900 a month, and she just started her second year at the University of Florida. That, folks, is one of my favorite stories. No, it's not $57 million. It's not even $42,000 a year. It's $900 a month, because she trained her brain to come up with money-making ideas. You can do this too. Second secret source of money-making ideas is called the passion wheel. The passion wheel of fortune. I'm just coining a new phrase. The passion wheel of fortune. One of the other things we teach is that you look inside yourself and answer the question, what am I passionate about? What do I love to do? What would I do whether I got paid at it or not? What do I really enjoy doing? And then you look on this wheel to see ways that you can make money from that passion. Let me give you an example. Now, I won't give you his real name because he'd probably get mad at me, but this is a NASA engineer from over at NASA who's good. He and his wife's from Finland. He and his wife are very good friends with me and my wife. He used to get mad as heck at me because I'd show him all my new ideas and he couldn't come up with one. And then one day I called them up. My wife says, "Why don't you invite them up to the house for dinner?" I said, "Okay." I call him up. I says, "Why don't you come up the house, you and your wife, spend the weekend? We'll ride the horses and da da da." He said, "No, I ain't ever coming to your house again because every time I come up there, you show me a new way you're making money, and I ain't come up with an idea yet." I said, "Hey, that's not nice." He said, "Oh, I'm just kind of kidding. We can't come up because we got to go up to Marietta, Georgia." I said, "Oh, yeah, what are you going up there for?" He says, "Model airplane competition." I said, "What?" Turns out he hand makes these model airplanes like the ones you see in these pictures, remote control model airplanes, and then they have dogfight competitions all over the place. You know where I didn't know much about this. I had heard about it. They put streamers out the back of the plane, and then these two planes go up remote control and have a dogfight trying to cut off each other's streamer. It's apparently a big deal. They go all over the country to these things. Are you kidding me? That's a passion. I've already passed the passion wheel, but one of the things on the passion wheel is called recurring income. That's like a newsletter. I said, "You big dummy, come up with an idea for a newsletter for all your people all over the country that do this dog fighting stuff. Not with dogs, but with airplanes." So he created Dog Fighters Digest, a monthly newsletter that he started out mailing out. Now it's just online, and he's got over 1,200 subscribers, paying him $4.77 a month. Do the math. That's over isn't it? That's over $5,000 a month for a newsletter. It takes him a couple hours a month to put together. It lists where the competitions are, who were the winners in the last competition. He now has classified ads where people can post an ad to sell their model airplane engines and wings and wheels and parts and stuff, and where the next competition is and all that kind of stuff. And he takes ads on that for the businesses surrounding where these competitions are. Are you kidding me? He's now bringing an extra $6,000 a month total from the ads and that newsletter subscription for something that takes him 2-3 hours a month to do. Raise your hand if you could go for that. An extra $6,000 a month that you put together in 3 or 4 hours a month. All because he learned to bankroll his brain power. Are you getting this? Can you see yourself doing this? All you got to do is learn the 12 steps I'm about to go over with you. It's all you got to do. And apply our system, and the ideas will start coming. Here's one of my ideas. How many of you hate spam? Raise your hand if you hate spam. Yeah, we all hate spam, don't we? Actually, I don't. I don't hate spam. I love spam. I love spam. You know why I love spam? Because every once in a while, there's an idea in there that you can use to bankroll your brain power. And I'll tell you about one that happened to me. I got spam from this guy who says, "I can show you how to make a ton of money on Facebook." I don't remember what the subject line of his ad said, but it was something like that. And I said, "Well, okay, I'll open the email. I'm not going to click on any link in the email. I don't want to get a virus, but I'll listen to what he has to say." And what he started talking about was, he says, pick a controversial topic. Pick one of the most controversial topics you can think of, and then put up a Facebook fan page and ask people to like your page if they support whatever position you're taking on the controversial topic. And the example he gave was one he did. His controversial topic was gay marriage, support of gays and gay marriage. And this is their icon or symbol that people that support gay marriage put on their Facebook page a lot. I don't understand all that stuff. All I know is he learned to bankroll his brain power. What he did is he put up a page with this symbol on it, and he says, like our page if you support gay marriage. You guys, he got like 60,000 people to like his page. 60,000 in like 9 months. Do you realize when somebody likes your Facebook fan page, you get their contact information? Boom, I got an idea. I want to pick a controversial topic. What's a controversial topic? Well, there's a million of them. Abortion, gun rights, politics. So I came up with an idea. Seems like nobody in Washington is listening to us. So I put up this page right here. When no one listens, scream louder. And then I put up a website, screamlouder2014.com. I found this picture over here of this man's face with a flag on it screaming. And I posted on there, our country's falling apart, no one's listening. It doesn't matter which side of the political fence you're on. We're talking about ideas to make money here, and I'll tell you how I turn it into money in a second. Take the pledge to scream louder till we get our country back. People are going to take a stand one way or another on this, aren't they? And he showed me how to promote this website with tiny little Facebook ads that hardly cost me anything. I've spent just over $400 on ads on Facebook. And you see there how many followers we had back when I took a picture of this page for this PowerPoint, 21,000. Well, if you right now went to, well, don't do it, stay on the webinar, but later, if you went to When No One Listens, Scream Louder right now, it's over 45,000 followers. And what do? We market to them. We had this t-shirt created, When No One Listens, Scream Louder on the front, and on the back it says, Save Our Country. Is that controversial? You betcha. Guess how many t-shirts we've sold? My wife hates me. We've had to ship out an average of 77 t-shirts a day. Almost $5,000 a month in t-shirt sales. Oh, are you above selling t-shirts? Not me, baby. Not me. Now I'm putting up another page. Guess what? It's a liberal page. I'm not prejudiced. I'll go anyway to make money. I'm a prostitute. Heck, I was a lawyer. You know that. But you can do this. And whatever your reason is, let me show you one of my reasons. This is Emory Morrison Bench. He's my grandson. One of the 6. These t-shirts right here are going to pay for his entire college education because I learned to bankroll my brain power. And you can too. If you get our bankroll system, you get bonuses, the brain science of weight control, how to always coach an undefeated team. Those are yours. The digital mind your brain entire system over 18 hours will be yours. You'll get my 2 best-selling books, Revolutionize Your Brain, Do It Yourself Brain Surgery. I'm going through it kind of quick because I want to get to the 12 steps, and then we'll show you the order page again if you want to. But get your pen and pencil and paper ready right now, because here come the 12 bankroll your brain power steps. Now this is off script. I threw in these 2 slides so I don't have a lot of fancy stuff with them. We're just going to go through them. But I'm telling you right now, if you learn and apply these 12 steps, if you learn and apply the 2 secret sources of money-making ideas, the USA Today newspaper and the Passion Wheel, you are on your way to a tremendous amount of additional income by bankrolling your brain power. All right, here we go. These are the 12 steps. Now look, These are all based on brain science. I've learned them over a 12-year period. They work. We've tested them. They work for our students. Over 125 students now are making money from our Bankroll Your Brain Power system, and you can too. Step number one, supersize your greeting. From this day forward, every human being you meet, you greet them with a positive greeting. How you doing today, Doug? Fantastic, terrific, tremendous. I don't care how crappy you feel, you lie and you supersize your greeting. This is one of the most powerful startups you can do every day. For every person you greet them with a supersized positive greeting. Nothing mediocre, about half, partly cloudy, funny, ha ha ha. No, supersize your greeting and say it with a supersized tone in your voice. I'm telling you, it'll change your life, just that one step. Number two, stomp the ants, A-N-T-S, automatic negative thoughts. This has been proven scientifically. Dr. Daniel Amen, if you've seen him on public television, he's an expert on the human brain, a research scientist on the brain. He calls them ants, automatic negative thoughts. The scientists have learned and proven that about 80% of your thoughts are negative. If you learn to stomp those and keep them from controlling you, you can achieve anything you desire. The way you stomp the ants is for about 30 days you wear a wristband, and every time you start to think a negative thought or say a negative thought, you snap your wrist out of it and turn it into a positive. It takes about 30 days to form a habit, positive habit, and if you do that for 30 days, your ants will be out of your pants and out of your brain. Number three, trigger a thunderstorm. This is vital. Anytime that you are practicing any of our steps or techniques, or what the next step is called inner states, they're like affirmations. Anytime you do this, you have to be in a highly charged emotional state. If you are in a highly charged emotional state, the new connections you are creating in your brain are stronger, longer lasting, there are more of them, and their firing threshold is lowered, which means you'll be able to recall them much more easily. Your memory will be very much improved if you get yourself into what I call a highly charged emotional state by triggering a thunderstorm. How do you do that? Listen to a sad song. Sit down and reminisce about one of the greatest days of your life. Maybe it was when you walked your daughter down the aisle at her wedding. Maybe it was watching the birth of your first child. Maybe it could even be a negative thing, where you were when you heard that your father was killed in a car accident, like happened to me. Whatever it is, positive or negative, if you trigger a thunderstorm, the learning you do after you've triggered that thunderstorm is longer lasting and much more powerful. This is a unique secret to my system. Learn that, you'll exceed the performance of anybody else. Number four, pave your interstates. Yep, old Tony Robbins was right. Tony Robbins called them incantations. Jack Canfield calls them affirmations. I don't care what you call them. They pave your brain with new roads of neurode patterns. You have to say to yourself over and over every day positive goals and statements. And they have to be spelled out in a very specific, positive way about your ability to come up with money-making ideas, and it will create them. It will create them. It is scientifically based. Most of your motivational, personal development, self-help people call it something else, but it is literally scientific based, self-fulfilling prophecies and all that stuff. Visualizing your goals and all that. It's paving your interstates with new brain connections that says you have learned to connect the dots and will be coming up with money-making ideas. We teach you exactly how to do that. Turn off the lights and turn on your VCR. What's this all about? Well, the first part, turn off the lights. Learn to trust the darkness. When you train your brain to bring you money-making ideas, those ideas are going to come to you out of the darkness, meaning out of your subconscious brain into your conscious brain. And you got to be paying attention. And you have to trust what comes to you from that darkness. So you turn off the lights and you trust your ability to walk from the bed to the bathroom in the darkness with your eyes closed, kind of thing. You know what I mean? You are trusting what comes to you from that darkness, because your subconscious brain, the scientists have learned, brings you the most powerful ideas, the most potential ideas, because they're not tainted by your false perception of reality at the conscious level. Very, very powerful. And turn on your VCR. What's VCR? Visualization creates reality. Now listen to this carefully. Most of us, by the time we're 40, have destroyed 98% of the connections in our brain for creativity, imagination, and visualization. That's no lie. That's a scientific fact. You've got to get those connections back. And the good news is you can build them. One of the biggest brain science discoveries of all is called neurogenesis, that says if you visualize things, you are creating brand new connections in your brain. Brand spanking new connections in your brain, showing you how to visualize and be creative and imaginative. You've got to do that. Now, many of you, especially if you're artistic or a musician, you got those skills now. As a lawyer, I destroyed them all. You didn't use your imagination or creativity in the law. You had to follow the law. So I had to learn to create new connections. There are exercises you can do to create new connections for visualization, because it's from your visualization that your ideas come and flow. And when they come, you got to be prepared to get them down. One of the things you've got to do, write this in your notes, get a DVR. What's a DVR? Digital voice recorder. When an idea comes into your head from the darkness, you have got to get that idea down to long-term memory, because short-term memory only fires for about 43 seconds and then it goes poof. So if you get an idea, you have got to get it down. You're not going to remember it. Trust me. The brain doesn't work that way. Put it on a digital voice recorder. And then number 6, get weird. I'm telling you right now, let me back up one more time. I promise you, if you get a digital voice recorder and use it on a daily basis, that step alone, your productivity will double. Because you will never again have an idea or thought go poof in 43 seconds. Get a digital voice recorder. Number 6, get weird to get wired. This is one of my favorites. I'm 68 years old. I do not have one brain cell in my head that's more than 3 years old. None. Because if you stimulate your brain will form new connections. They're called DSP connections. If you stimulate your brain every day with new things, and my grandkids call me weird when I do new things every day. That's why I call it get weird to get wired. Drive to and from work a different way. Brush your teeth with the wrong hand once in a while. Read a page in a book upside down once in a while. Out loud once in a while. Walk backwards into an elevator. Whatever. Do something different and new and weird every day, because you're creating new connections in your brain. It's called neurogenesis. Brain plasticity. If you stimulate your brain, no matter what your age, are you listening? If you stimulate your brain, no matter what your age, your brain will form brand spanking new connections, increasing the total number of connections in your brain and increasing your brain's capacity for achievement. Get to work and get weird. Your brain will improve the more weird you are, the more different things you do each day. Now, those are all the foundation. The next 6 are turning ideas into money. Number 7, you've heard stop, look, and listen. I go listen, look, and stop. Listen. Number 7, you have got to pay attention and listen to what people are saying around you. And that's, within earshot, that's on Facebook, that's on Twitter, that's on TV. You have got to listen. And what you're listening for is what people want and what people need. You have to listen for what they want and need. And I use the newspaper for this. I use Facebook for this. Oh, sure, there's lots of fun things you can do on Facebook and Twitter, but you can also see what people want and need. It's a very simple formula. Find out what people want and then give it to them. It's a very simple formula for success. Listen. Look would be go to USA Today. Look, and by the way, I don't think I mentioned it. Don't just read the articles looking for what people want and need. Read the advertisements too. Those guys that came up with that golf ball retrieval company, they got that idea out of the USA Today because they saw an ad in there from a company called lostgolfballs.com, which does the same thing they're doing. But it's not keeping them from making an extra $200,000 a year just because somebody else is doing it. And then stop and find out if your ideas, when you listen and look to see what people want, you got to stop and look to see if your idea is a good idea. And in our Bankroll Your Brain Power system, we show you exactly the best place to go. It's Google. Google keyword search tool to find out if your idea is a good one. Listen, look, and stop. And then go spin your passion wheel. That passion wheel that I showed you has 8 ways on it that you can make money from your passion. Make a list of what you're passionate about. And then you go, in our Bankroll Your Brain Power system, you go to the 8 ways you can make money from that passion. The one example we gave you was a newsletter. That's monthly revenue. Continuity, they call that. You get a check every month from your subscribers. But you could also do seminars. You could write a book. You could write an ebook. You could have a DVD, CD series. There are many, many ways. And listen, did you know that 84% of all nonfiction books are not written by the person whose name's on the cover? They come up with the idea and get other people to write the book for them. That's you and me. We will show you how to come up with money-making ideas, and we'll show you where to go to get somebody else to write that book for you. I've done it twice. Our students have done it at least a half a dozen times. You don't have to have the skill to write the book. You have to have the skill to connect the dots to come up with the ideas. That's number 10. Go. Spin your passion wheel. Number 11, test the tools. Man, oh man, I am, of course, my grandkids call me a computer caveman. I love that. Yeah, I'm a caveman on a computer, but you know what? I'm learning. And I'm learning that you have to test, test, test. You can change an ad in just one word in an ad and double your sales. The internet is phenomenally fickle, and you have to test everything. So you test this idea. You test that idea. Never stop testing. And number 12, do you need seed money? Well, in our Bankroll Your Brain Power system, we show you ways to get money. One is called crowdfunding, a phenomenal source of funding now that you may have heard about. If you don't know anything about crowdfunding, go on to the internet, go to Google and type in crowdfunding, and you'll be reading for hours to learn all about crowdfunding. There are angel investors. There are situations similar to Shark Tank, if you've watched that. As a matter of fact, we've cultivated a friendship with Kevin Harrington, one of the creators of Shark Tank. He owns a company As Seen on TV. He knows what it takes to create a physical product, He gave me a 10 question questionnaire that you've got to answer to see if your product's a good product idea. Tremendous. He'll review products that we send him, by the way. And then you're ready for number 13. You know, I always like to over deliver. Number 13, a baker's dozen. Number 13, Doug's two-step plan for success. Once you've done these 12 steps, particularly the last 6, listen, look, stop, go, test the tools, do you need seed money? Then you need to follow Doug's two-step plan for success. You ready to write it down? Very, very scientific. 1, close your frickin' eyes. 2, jump. Close your eyes and jump. Don't give me no crap. Just close your eyes and jump. You're not investing a gazillion dollars. We show you in our system ways that you can be successful without having a gazillion dollar need. Unbelievably successful with just $100, $140 invested. Close your frickin' eyes and jump. If it doesn't work, go on to the next idea. Because trust me, they're going to keep coming. All right, now we're going back onto the formal PowerPoint. Let's talk about what you're going to get if you take action now. Now look, the most successful people I know are people that take action. They close their eyes and jump. They don't dilly-dally. They don't sit on the fence. They take action. Here's everything that you're going to get. Now, it's all digital, instant download. This is how we can do it for such a small amount. You get the Bankroll Your Brain Power system that we've been talking about. You get the manual that goes with it. You get bonuses, the Brain Science of Weight Control seminar that we've done, have sold thousands of. How to coach an undefeated team based on brain science. I give you that bonus seminar. And I give you the special bonus of the entire Mind Your Brain system. 18 hours on training your brain for greater achievements. The first 10 orders get signed, autographed copies of my 2 best-selling books. Total value over $4,000 if you take action quickly for just $477. Now, I told you we were going to have a big surprise at the end. There you see over on the left the order page, www.bypnow.com/brain. But here comes a big surprise. Ken is a friend of mine, has been for several years now. He is a very good arm twister. And he says, Doug, can we do something special for these people? And I said, yes, we can. So instead of this $477, step 1, you're going to get 100% ironclad 100-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked, up to 100 days. That means you got nothing to risk. Nothing. But you got to take action now. The first 10 of you that order get my best-selling books autographed by me. And if you order within the next 37 minutes at this link, bypnow.com/brain, guess what? We're going to reduce this just for Ken subscribers to $247. You guys, pardon the pun, this is a no-brainer. You've already got between your left and right ear everything you need to learn to bankroll your brain power, to create money-making idea after money-making idea, to find out where to find these ideas, how to find out if it's a good idea. All that's in your head already. You just got to learn to connect the dots, and you will never have a better opportunity to do so than the next 37 minutes at 247. www.bypnow.com/brain. And I can't wait to hear your success story. Imagine it. I mean, just an extra $1,000 a month from a book that you have somebody else write for you because you trained your brain how to come up with the idea. We'll show you exactly how to get that done. And then you go a next month or 2 months later and you come up with another idea and you do the same thing again. You have nothing whatsoever to lose
Yeah,
and
Doug,
tremendous success to gain. Yes, Ken.
the thing I love so much, Doug, about your program is that really you're tapping into the number one resource that controls everything. And when you train your brain to seize opportunities, it's incredible. I mean, I just got back. We talked briefly before we started today. I just got back from 12 days in Nepal, and my mother and I were both going bananas with all the incredible opportunities that exist just there, and that we'll take advantage of. We're going back because
Yep.
it's massive everywhere you are. Once you train your brain to keep your awareness open, it's shocking just what you can. I mean, the thing that you've got to actually do is then create some discipline to not act on everything because there's so many cool things. And you've added, by the way, you've added so many new things that you've been doing with the horse stuff. For example, it's really impressive. It's dynamic, guys. You do actually reduce your age. You absolutely reduce your age. You do. You
Yeah.
absolutely do. My mom is nearly 80 years old, and she's running around and doing wild and crazy things that 40-year-old people can barely do, because she's trained her brain to not think that she doesn't think she's 80. If you tell her she's 80, she's like, nah. This is huge. I mean, this is more than just the money side of it. This is a total lifestyle change for
Yeah.
you guys, and it's a health change for you guys. I mean, really, really important. And for those of you that are in process right now of making dramatic changes, like you, Cindy, and David, and I know for you particularly, Alexi, if you want as you want to build your massage business, this is great stuff to be able to have you find some of the massive opportunities. I mean, it just incredible opportunities for you guys. And Doug knows the stuff. Doug totally knows the stuff. So you can go ahead and grab that at bypnow.com/brain. I had to think of something that was really complicated. So BYP Now, of course, stands for Boost Your Practice Now, bypnow.com/brain. There was a question that someone asked about seed money. You mentioned an internet reference regarding seed money. Do you remember what that
Yes.
was?
Yeah. You can go to uh, Google and just do a Google search on crowdfunding, CROWD funding, FUNDING. There are now websites where billions, literally billions of people have access to investing in your ideas in tiny amounts. The most popular, and this all came about by a law that was passed in this country about a year and a half ago, but just took effect this past January. And the most popular website for crowdfunding is called Kickstarter.com. Kickstarter.com. Take a look at that. Go to Google and learn all about crowdfunding. In fact, if you want to go to Google and type in what is crowdfunding, you'll be reading. A lot of my people are using these crowdfunding websites to get the funds that they need for physical products. For digital ideas and internet ideas and newsletters, you don't need funding. But if you have a physical product and you need a prototype uh, and you need your product manufactured, these crowdfunding websites are one of the most phenomenal answers that have ever come down the pike. So check them out.
Yeah, it's something that's never existed 10 years ago, but boy, it's so
That's
so
right.
so 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 cool.
And of course, I talk about it at length in my Bankroll Your Brain Power system.
Yeah, it's fundamental. I mean, and by the way, I'm seeing a lot of orders coming through. I mean, it's kind of fast and furious. So, and by the way, when you do place the order, when the order is complete, you'll be taken directly to the download page. So for all of you guys, and I think I've seen 6 or 7 come through so far, 8 now. Uh, you're getting right to the download page, and there's a lot of links on that page. Just go one by one to download the material. It's there for you. It's instant download. You have access to that page forever. So Doug, I made sure that Doug gave you everything. So you will have that access. So congratulations to Tim. Looks like congratulations to Stephen, Paul, Mary Beth, Valerie. You guys are gonna love this. And my personal request is that you guys tell me exactly how you're doing with this, because I want to hear more about it. Doug sees a lot of these. I don't get them as much because, of course, Doug's your trainer on this. But let me know how you're doing with it, because I'm thrilled to hear your success stories. So that's absolutely terrific. And happy to get you that information for that you asked for in the questions. Any other questions we have for Doug? I know Doug's got another event coming up. We did this early so we could get Doug in today, because everyone's been asking me about when are we getting that brain guy back. so so it's great. Let's see. Yvonne saying I can't get to the website. Okay, Yvonne, there's a link that I put through. It's BYP, as in booster practice, byp.com/brain. Okay, or if you want to just spell it out, boosterpractice.com/brain, same link. You'll be able to get there right now. And I've tested it, so it should work for you. So boosterpractice.com/brain, or BYP now, which is fewer letters to type, .com/brain. The first secret skill. What was the first secret skill? I'm going to put the other link in the chat live.
Supersize your greeting.
Supersize your. That's I live by that one.
Yeah, it is phenomenally powerful. When I have live seminars, the people, the first thing after they get back home that they email me or call me about is how phenomenally changing just supersizing your greeting is for yourself and for those around you. It changes those around you too. It's hard to be negative when somebody greets you with "I'm doing fantastic. How are you?"
That's exactly right. I tell people to keep.
And if you
Yeah.
can keep a secret, I'll tell you the brain science behind that. Your brain, 5/6 of your brain can't distinguish truth from a lie, real from imagined. So if you feel like crap and you tell yourself you feel fantastic, guess what? Your brain believes it. Way cool. You can lie your way to success. Man, as a lawyer, I wish I'd have known that earlier.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. One of the first key things that I've always taught people in my trainings has been to be nice. And to do that. The smile thing is really really important. Really really important.
Yep.
So I encourage you. But you will learn all those tips in Doug's program, and so many of you are going to be there for it. So I encourage you. You can go to either boosterpractice.com/brain, or BYP, as in boosterpracticenow.com/brain. Either way, you're there to rock and roll. Denise, your order just came through. Congratulations. So you should have access to that in just a second. Um, so yeah, this is tremendous. I'm really really excited, Doug. Everyone's jumping on this. Sam is in. Tim is in. I see Seth is here. So yeah, this is great. I'm very very excited about this. Just absolutely tremendous. So you guys, any other questions before we let Doug go? I know he's got this other event, and you've been maxed out since you've been back from your mountain adventure, sir. Uh, uh,
Well, that was, everybody expected me to come back complaining. Supersize your greeting.
well,
It was creating memories.
yeah,
Creating memories.
we did whitewater rafting last week when I was in Nepal, and I had this huge epiphany about life when we were doing this. And I'll leave this with you guys, kind of as a parting thought process here. When you're whitewater rafting, what's the part? You guys can jump in on this, okay? What's the part of whitewater rafting that is the most fun? Everybody, what's the part? Pop it in. Is it the flat or is it the rapids? You can just pop that into the chat. What is it? You're right. It is the rapids. The flat is the boring part. Think about your life when the stuff gets wacky. That's the rapids. When the stuff gets, the road gets blown out, and you're stuck without power and cell phone and food and everything. That's the rapids. Yeah, Stephen, exactly right. The rapids and getting wet. It's the rapids when when the crap hits the fan and you're feeling a bit uncomfortable. That's the rapids. If you look at the rapids of life as the rapids of the river, it's a different perspective because at the end of the day, when after you finish the running around the rapids, things cool down, and things get simple. But if everything was so smooth that there was no rapids at all, there was no wackiness, it would be Yawnville. It would be totally boring. And frankly, who wants boring? Boring is boring. I mean, all these people. Listen, I do yoga, I do meditation, I do all that stuff, and well, maybe not all of it, but I do a lot of it, and not as consistently as perhaps I would recommend. But the stillness allows you a lot of flexibility and a lot of creativity as well. But if you're doing stillness all day long, you're going to atrophy. You got to act. You got to maximize what you got. You got to go into those rapids. Yvonne, you're still getting a 404. I don't know why you're getting a 404 error. If can you click the link that I put into the chat for you? Okay, because it does work. We're getting plenty of orders coming through. So I can call you and take the order manually if you like, but for sure the link actually does work. Anthony, it was 12 days in Nepal, and we're going to be doing a trip, I think, in May, end of May. That'll be probably a 12-day trip as well for my Excalibur Society members. That will be just killer. Doug, you got to come to this trip. Nepal is insane, absolutely incredible, top of the world, and
It
people.
sounds like it.
They're the nicest people in the
Yeah.
world. They are so nice, and that's another thing. I mean, these people live with very very little money, but they're happy. I've not seen one person that was not smiling. I mean, not one.
Fantastic.
Yeah, not one. Nobody was grouchy. Nobody. They're all smiling, and they pass it on. It's really incredible. So Yvonne, would you do me a favor? Try it again, or pop your phone number in the chat, and I will be happy to call you as soon as I'm done here with Doug. Any other questions, everybody? Because I've got, I want to let Doug go and do his thing because he's got another appointment. My friend, a pleasure. Thank you for joining us today. We have a few minutes left for Doug's special offer. By the way, we do process with PayPal. So if you have an issue with the amount and need to stretch it out, you can actually use PayPal's Bill Me Later, 6 months, no payments. When you go into your PayPal account, when you actually use the link and go in, and you have an opportunity for most of you, those of you in the United States, that is, to use PayPal's financing, and it's 6 months of no payments and I believe no interest as well. So it's a pretty cool opportunity to get Doug's program for nothing right away. So I recommend that too. It's a pretty cool thing. Doug still gets paid, so he's happy with it. PayPal takes care of that. They just do the financing, and we're happy about that because it works well that way. And you as merchants should do that in your own businesses. Okay, Yvonne, are you good? Because I'm not seeing your order coming through, but I'm not hearing back from you. But it's boostyourpractice.com/brain. The first secret skill. See, Shaw missed the first secret skill.
That's the bank, the supersize your greeting.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's supersize you. For me, it's just the question's repeating itself. Yeah, you've got to be enthusiastic. You got to play big. You got to have a much bigger game. If you want to learn how to supersize your greeting, go watch the replay of the 2013 Tony Award. That is about as big as you can get for the opening number there. Truly, it's like, yeah, I sing that. It's talk about making it bigger, and it's like my theme song right now. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Okay, I've got your. Let's see. All right, Yvonne, I will call you in just a few minutes. Where is 4-4? I'll find out. But I will call you. And yeah, I don't know why you're having trouble, but it sure does work. So there we go.
Ken.
All right, Doug, thank you very much, my friend.
Take care, everybody.
I appreciate it. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Our pleasure, Mr. Shaw. Ms. Shaw. I can't tell. It's a C. Shaw. real thrilled. Sorry, real thrilled. I'm going to lay it down here for a minute, for a couple minutes. Real thrilled to have you with us. This was fun. This was really a lot of fun. Okay, Yvonne, I'll call you in just a minute. Where is 4-4, Yvonne? I should know that, but we'll get you all hooked up. Hmm. Okay, so Joan, you're all set. Your order's through. Lou, your order's set. Your order's through. Terrific. Okay, Denise, your order. You should be on the proper page, and PayPal is verifying your order for whatever reason, so that will clear tomorrow. But you should have access now. Let's see. Okay. So cool. All right, everybody. I will let you. I'm going to head out and call Yvonne and get her sorted out. Anybody else? Go ahead and grab your spot right now, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us, everybody.